Welcome to my video lecture. I am Dr. A. Velmurugan, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Government College of Engineering, Chettikari, Dharmaburi. From upcoming semester, Thermal Engineering 2, Unit 5, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning System, Module 2. As I told previously, we have discussed about the model 1 introduction about the refrigeration, and also now from this model we have to discuss about the vapor compression refrigeration cycle. As I told earlier, that is how to the process is going on the vapor refrigeration system. From that vapor compression refrigeration cycle, there is a two side. One is a lower pressure side, another one is a higher pressure side. From the lower pressure side, that is a low pressure and low temperature vapor is entered to the compressor. From that compressor, they have compressed the compressor and deliver the high pressure and high temperature vapor is entered to the condenser. Generally, from that condenser is a heat exchanging process. From that heat exchanging process, with the help of the seawater or fan cooled to condensate that liquid, with the help of that seawater or fan cooled, we have to exchange the heat. From that condenser, there is a high pressure. Only the high pressure vapor is goes to the receiver from the liquid receiver tank. From that receiver tank, that liquid is goes to the thermostatic expansion valve. From the thermostatic expansion valve, that is a liquid, the low pressure liquid is entered to the evaporator section. From that evaporator section, we have to get the chilling effect in the household purpose. From the refrigeration or freezer or in your room surroundings, we get the chilling effect. From low pressure side to high pressure side, we get the chilling effect from that evaporator. Again the cycle is repeated, and after that heat will be absorbed from that evaporator or in the fridge or refrigerator or in the space. We have to get the chilling effect from that vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Next slide, we have discussed about the that is layout of the vapor compression cycle. There is a two side. One is a lower side and a higher side. From that high pressure side, that is a from the compressor, condenser and expansion. From the low pressure side is the process is evaporator. Next slide, we have discussed about the vapor compression cycle. From that from that compressor, we get the superheated vapor enter to the compressor, where it is the pressure will be raised. From here, from the condensed compressor, there is a superheated vapor is entered the compressor, where it is pressure will be raised in the compressor. Next slide, we have discussed about the from the evaporator, there is a low pressure liquid is refrigerant in the evaporator, absorb heat and changes to gases. Next slide, we have discussed about the high pressure superheated gas is cooled in the several stages in the condenser. Next slide, we have discussed about the discuss about the vapor compression cycle from the pH diagram. From that pH diagram, that is the line is denoted from this. From that left hand side, that is a saturated liquid. From that right hand side, that is a saturated vapor. From here, the process 1 and 2, that is a evaporator process. Already I have told about it. From the evaporator process, that is a sink or in the space, we have to remove the heat from the process from that wet vapor or saturated condition in this region from the pH chart. After the process from the 2 to 3, that is a compressor process. Here the low pressure liquid is entered to the compressor from the process 2 to 3. After that, the compressor is going to the superheated saturated region. From the here, from this region is a superheated vapor, and from this region is a superheated saturated liquid. From here, that is the process is 2 to 3. The after the compression, that high temperature and high pressure vapor is goes to the condenser. From clearly we have to show the diagram from the pH diagram. From the condenser is a generally you know about the heat exchanging process. From here we have to read, it will be rejected, it goes to the atmosphere with the help of that cooling from the seawater or with the help of the fan. We have to exchange the heat from this condenser process. After that high pressure liquid, that is high pressure vapor, that is it is changing from the with the help of the receiver tank and also from the thermostatic expansion valve. It goes to the process 421, that is a expansion device. That is after completion of the process, that is a wet vapor is entered to the evaporator, we get the chilling effect. From the process of 1 to 2, we get the useful capacity of this vapor compression cycle. From process 4 to 3, that is a heat rejected in the condenser, and here we have clearly mentioned from the pH chart motor input and power. From that cycle, from this process, we have to clearly know about that vapor compression cycle. From here, from the evaporation section, that is heat in, and from the condensation section and heat out. From here we have to know about the critical point from clearly mentioned from that line, that is a the here from this line is denoted for the hot temperature, from this line is denoted for the cold temperature. From here, from the throttling condition, from this line is mentioned for the hot temperature, from this line for the cold temperature. As I told about it, from this left hand side, that is a liquid region, from that right hand side, there is a vapor region. From the evaporation condition, from that there is a liquid plus vapor is formed from the vapor compression cycle. After that, next we have discussed about the when the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of the compression process. From that, when the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of the compression process, from that vapor is dry and the end of the compression process. From the TS diagram, we have to clearly mentioned from process 1 and 2 is the evaporation process, from process 2 to 3 the compression process, from 3 to 4 that is a condensation process, from 4 to 1 is the expansion process. From here we get the net refrigerating effect from the process of G2F. From the saturation line, here the vapor region, from here the liquid region, from the saturation line. From the process is the vapor is dry and saturated and the end of the compression process. From the vapor will be dry and saturated and the end of the compression process. Next slide we have discussed about the when the vapor is superheated after compression process. From that vapor is heading the superheated after the compression process. We have to show the line of 3 to 3 dash, that is a superheated after compression process. The same cycle will be repeating from that process 1 2 is a evaporation line, from 2 to 3 that is a compression line. We get the superheated region from the 3 dash to 3. After that 3 dash to 4 that is a condensation process, from 4 to 1 is a expansion process. From the saturation line, that is a vapor region, from here the liquid region. And also from that vapor compression refrigerator, there are the important components are present. First one is a refrigerant. We have to using for the refrigerant is a ammonia or freon gases or R12. Various types of refrigerants are available. Previously you want to study about the fourth semester in that thermal engineering 1, that is a you want to study about the different types of refrigerant, and also you know about that very well know about the psychrometric chart. And also that is one unit is evaporator or chiller unit, compressor, condenser, receiver, thermostatic expansion. These are all the main components are used in the vapor compression refrigeration cycle. From that evaporator we get the chilling effect in that located in the space to be refrigerated, and also cooling coil is act as a indirect heat exchanger, absorb the heat from the surrounding and vaporizes. And also technically we get latent heat of vaporization and the sensible heat of the surroundings. That is a photographic view or line drawing of the evaporator tubing is inside the chilling. If we get the chilling effect in the duct, or in if we get the chilling effect in the freezer, or we get the chilling effect from that room, that is indoor unit or outdoor unit or in the refrigerator, this section these tubes are, that is evaporating tubes to absorb the heat from the surroundings and also from the space. Next important component is a compressor. That is from this nowadays we have to using for sealed compressor, so it is that the efficiency is high. But in the olden days we have to using for large unit, we get the using for reciprocating compressor. We have to compress it, the entire low pressure and low temperature vapor, and it exit condition it will be from the high pressure and high temperature vapor. The temperature is create the differential, promote the heat transfer. From here the pressure also increasing and the temperature also using the condenser to warm temperature. In increasing the energy provides the driving force to circulate the refrigerant through the system. Next unit is a condenser. Condenser is a generally you know about, that is a heat exchanger. The refrigerant rejects the latent heat to cooling medium. The latent heat of the condensation, indirect heat exchanger. We have to using this seawater absorb the heat or discharge it overboard. Next unit is a receiver, the temperature storage space or surge volume for the subcooled refrigerant, serves as a vapor seal to prevent the vapor for entering the expansion valve. From the expansion valve is a very important, that is a thermostatic expansion valve. With the help of the electronic control unit, we have to using the liquid freon is, that is a R12 or 22, that is a freon, that is a liquid, or ammonia, that is a liquid freon is entered the expansion valve at high pressure and leaves as a low pressure wet vapor. Vapor from as a refrigeration enter the saturation region. From the process of control, the pressure reduction process, from here that amount of refrigerant is used for that process. From that very important unit is from that compressor is a from that refrigeration unit, that is a compressor, condenser, receiver and expansion valve and evaporator. Next slide we have discussed from the photography view of the thermostatic expansion valve how to spray that how to spray that liquid from that evaporator with the pipes. Next we have to, before we go to the effect of subcooling and effect of superheating, first of all you should know the advantages of the refrigeration unit is it is very mature technology and also the COP is higher when compared to the other system. For the some refrigeration effect, the size of the evaporator is small. We record the temperature can be obtained just by adjusting the throttle valve unit, and also it can be used for the over a large range of temperature. And also from the disadvantage point of view, there is a initial cost is very high, and also it is highly inflammable, it is high toxic, and the more refrigerant is required to avoid to superheating in the evaporation. So you know previously from the household purpose, that is a refrigerator and the air conditioner is a it is a, from the main disadvantage it is there is a high toxic, and also the initial cost is very high, and also that is sometimes that gas will be escaping means that is a inflammable, these are all the that is a flammable, it is a very dangerous to some lot of accident will be happen on that refrigeration unit in that worldwide. After that we go to the effect of subcooling. From the subcooling we have these are all the increase the superheated steam and increase the efficiency from that subcooling region. Already you know about the process of 1 2 3 4, that is a simple variable compression refrigeration system. After it we have to additionally add for the subcooler, that is a 1 2 3 dash 4 dash, that is a subcooling system from that liquid region. From that liquid region we have to using for the subcooling region. From that here we have to, that is a work done is H2 minus H2, that is a constant, and the refrigeration effect from the so from that effect of subcooling liquid, we have to the COP efficiency also increasing, that refrigeration effect and workload also increasing. From that subcooling liquid, we have to discuss about additionally we have to using for the subcooler to increase the efficiency of this vapor compression refrigeration system. Here there is a double stages of evaporator, and also from here if you using the subcooler means we get the heat exchanging from that process, we get a superheated vapor will be formed for it in the compressor. From the evaporator it goes to the again that to increase the efficiency of this subcooling liquid. Next slide we have discussed about the effect of superheating liquid. From that superheating liquid is formed from that superheated region. From the process of vapor region, that is a simple vapor compression system. From the process 1 2 3 4, that is a simple VCRS. From the process of superheating region 1 dash 2 dash 3 to 4, that is a superheating region. From here the superheating region, the work done also increasing, refrigeration effect also increasing, mass flow rate also decreasing, COP also increasing. But here that is a little better, that is 1% work done will be increasing means that is a COP also 1% will be slightly increasing. But from the suitable point of view, that is a subcooler is a very to increase the efficiency and also efficiency from the refrigeration plant. Next slide, that is a thank you.